Optimized here, and we're talking about the true might of Santa. Yeah, I'm definitely not late to this topic. You might think this is a joke, but unironically, Santa is kinda broken. But first of all, who is Santa? This also sounds like a joke question, but there are hundreds of different interpretations of Santa. The one I will be going off of is the one most parents tell their kids. Santa Claus goes from house to house on Christmas night, giving all the good kids gifts and all the bad kids coal. Before we get into the meat of Santa's power, let's first go over Santa's intelligence. Santa manages to evade security cameras, people, alarms, traps, and any other form of security, managing to never be caught. This shows that Santa is incredibly intelligent and aware of his surroundings, or that he has some special ability to get around them. Santa also manages to make millions of presents each year, with the help of his elves while also being a non-profit. Managing a factory of that size is not something the average person could do. This is all not mentioning Santa is over 1,000 years old. Now you might ask about combat intelligence. And while Santa is more than likely a pacifist, it's fair to say that over the past 1,000 years he might have picked up a thing or two. Another thing worth bringing up is how he manages to fit millions of presents in one bag. If this is just a normal bag that has no gimmicks such as a pocket dimension, that would mean it has non-Euclidean geometry, which in non-fancy terms means that the object breaks the laws of geometry. But speaking of that bag, how much would it weigh? Well, assuming that on the low end each present weighs half a pound and that on the high end each present weighs 2 pounds. And if Santa gives every kid a present or every Christian kid a present, this means that he's lifting the Washington Monument at a low ball and oil rigs at a high ball. For context, this is the base of an oil rig.
It was a colossal sight, as the oil rig structure dwarfed everything in sight.
Santa could lift multiple of these. On the high end, he could lift 4 billion pounds, which is almost as much as your mother. He also casually moves around carrying this. Speaking of his movement, how fast is Santa? This ended up being a more complex question than I thought, and the math ended up being annoying, so I'm not going to go over it. Psych, so if you have 2 billion children, as in people under 18, and you assume that each house is an equal distance. So ignoring the math, there are a lot of unknown variables, but simply put, a low ball for his sled is 250,000 miles per hour, and a high ball is over 200 million miles per hour. So in speed terms, his sled would be moving at massively hypersonic speeds on the low end and 20% the speed of light on the high end. Keep in mind this is for Santa's sled. Santa might not scale to his reindeer. If we account for this, Santa alone would be moving at the speed of sound on the low end and massively hypersonic on the high end. This is all assuming Santa does not scale to his reindeer, which there's an argument that he might. Santa can feed and care for his reindeer and is also able to guide them when flying. This means he should not be dwarfed by their speed, as he could not interact with them. Now this asks the question, with his speed, how hard could he hit? On his own without his bag moving at massively hypersonic speeds, Santa would have enough kinetic energy to destroy multiple city blocks. But with his bag, things get a bit more interesting. Simply put, imagine Santa slamming his bag, which weighs as much as multiple oil drills, down at speeds far exceeding the speed of sound. With his bag, he could destroy multiple cities, if not mountains. But this is nothing compared to what would happen if Santa used his sleigh. An oil drill moving at 20% the speed of light would cause havoc. He would have more than 20 times the energy of the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs. Santa simply ramming in the ground could wipe out all of humanity. This casts Santa in a new light as more of a threat to humanity than a generous soul. This is not to mention Santa's abilities. He's constantly aware of every child and knows their every move. And in some interpretations, everyone on the planet. This is even more of a factor in Santa's intelligence. He can morally judge millions, if not billions, of kids at once. For context, if you watch Death Note, L is one of the smartest people in that anime. In Death Note, at most, L could only watch multiple monitors at once. Santa could do this on a massive scale. I'm not saying that Santa's deductive ability is on the level of someone like L, but it could imply that his observation is superior. There are also other possibilities for how Santa gets his presents delivered. Maybe he uses a form of time stop so he can get around moving at reasonable speeds relative to his time flow. Or maybe Santa has clones to decrease the workload. We simply don't know enough about the man to say for sure. With all of this being said, Santa is still a menace. In the future, I might scale other mythological beings, as I had a lot of fun with this one. And if you did too, I do power scaling and philosophy videos, so subscribe if you are interested. Also, please give me suggestions in the comment section for videos like this, as this video was a lot of fun to make. With all of this being said, if you enjoyed this video, then you might like my video where I go over how fast Goku is. This was Optimized, and I'll see you in the next one.
Excuse me, what the actual fuck are you doing in my house?